Hi, it's Michael Whalen, and welcome to the Artist Expansion Podcast. And this is episode 6, and the title of today's conversation is Maybe Your Music Sucks. Now, I'm not saying that your music sucks. I'm saying that the world is. Consider the possibility that you are making your music for the wrong reasons. A fair number of the artists that I work with at Artist Expansion walk in the door with this idea of, I'm going to prove something with my music. And it's mostly because they come from families and situations where they weren't supported as children, and they had to kind of fight for the opportunity to make their music, and and the only way they could prove to a bunch of people who were not musicians that their music was good was that it was popular, or they were popular, or they made a lot of money. They, wave a wad of cash in the face of their, parents or whoever and said, okay, see, I did it. That's the wrong reason to make music. Now, lots of people had this problem. Michael Jackson famously had this thing about how many records he was going to sell with Thriller and Bad, and him and Quincy Jones would fight. And Quincy would be arguing for make good music. Everybody in the world who has a child, everybody in the world who gets a puppy or a kitten, everybody in the world who makes music, they want to think that the thing that they've made, the thing that they've bought, the thing that they've created is beautiful. It's great. It's the greatest thing ever. Mathematically, that's not possible. It just isn't. Here's the test. And you're not going to like it. I don't know. Okay. Here's the test. The test is, do you, artist, listen to your own music? Do you listen to your own music? I make music that I myself want to listen to. I am making music for myself that does not exist or I have not found in the world. So with, whatever musical talent, whatever ability that I have, I make my music. I am listener number 1. Now, this is something that when I'm working with people at Artist Expansion, when I'm coaching them, this is a big concept. The listener number 1 concept. Because you got to split yourself in 2 parts. Number 1 is you are the creator, writer, co-writer, whatever of your music. Over here. Over here, you're the listener. And they come together. Now, why would I say this? The big issue for a lot of the world, if they don't already know you and your music and whatever, is this idea that they do not want to be the first people in the pool. They don't. What they want is they want to be in a conversation where they can anticipate what it's going to be like, the music, or they can rationalize in their head that many other people have listened. So by being listener number 1 of your own music, you are letting the entire world off the hook with, hey, I'm the first person who's listened to this. You don't have to be the first. You don't have to be stream number 1. This is important because there's people in the world who make a lot of purpose-built music. And God, I hate that phrase so much, but I get hit with it all the time. So purpose-built music is, I'm making music for sleep. I'm making music for meditation. I'm making music for whatever. And in some cases, I think it's okay to say to people, okay, well, you could do this with this music, but what you ultimately want to do is you want to empower people to do whatever they're going to do with it. So by being listener number one of your own music, you can discover your music and how it enhances your life away from the pressure of making it. I'm going to say that again differently. So consider the possibility that after you're done making it, you can go off with your music and you could live your life. You can have a weekend, you can go for a drive, you can fall asleep, you can have a bubble bath, you can make love to somebody that you like, whatever. The bottom line is, this music is now providing a soundtrack for whatever it is you're doing. Let's go back to the test. So when I talk to artists and I'm like, hey, do you listen to your own music? And the answer is no. That's a big red flag. Because here comes the question. If you're not listening to your music, then why are you assuming that anybody else would? It is the height of arrogance to be in a place called, yeah, I'm going to make this, throw it out there, and I don't really care what happens to it. Is that cool? Is that like the cool move? Because I think it's like obnoxious and arrogant and presumptuous and terrible. I make music that I myself want to listen to, and if other people listen to it, that's great. But that's not why I made it. I made it for me. And can you do that without thinking to yourself, hey, I am a totally self-possessed egomaniac? Yeah. Yeah, you can. So, maybe your music sucks because you won't even listen to it. You won't even listen to it. So, I don't know, maybe listen to your own music as a listener, far away from instruments and mixing and mastering and all that stuff. And ask yourself, what role, what thing will be enhanced by having this music around? And if the answer is, I don't know, after you listen to it, I rest my case. But if you listen to it and all of a sudden you start hearing it in a way that you never possibly imagined, or you had the impetus to go do something to this music that's never happened before, guess what the next thing you're going to do is? Share it on social media. See how this goes together? You make music for yourself, authentic expression of something that you want in your life. Then you listen to it, you pull it into your life, you have an experience with it, and then you share about it. So I'm not making any kind of like creative judgment about your music if I say maybe your music sucks. I'm saying it's unlistenable because you yourself will not listen to it. It's another way of looking at it and saying, if I'm not creating an experience with my music, then what am I doing? Am I playing lots of fast scales? Lots of notes? I don't know. Have you heard Dream Theater? They do well with that. And they're making music for themselves. And then they go on stage and they go on social media and they share about it. Because they're excited about it for themselves. And then other people watch that excitement and they're like, I want that. How do I get that excitement for myself? That's what we're talking about here. So, bottom line, I'm sure your music's great. I'm sure you're great. I'm sure you're super creative. Maybe you're wonderful. Who knows? But here's another way of looking at your music that will open up some things for you in terms of how you're going to promote it, how you're going to talk about it, how you're going to relate to your fans, because now you can have a shared experience with them. They can start coming to you and say, hey, well, you did this. Well, I did this to your music. Wow. Okay. I hope this helps. I really appreciate all of the support with the podcast. Lots and lots of people watching it. Really, it's cool. So I hope I'm helping. Okay. Thanks.